My father-in-law cut down some trees, including this one. This is the biggest chunk, and I actually had to split that in half with a chainsaw just so I could move it. And I'm about to cut the first slice off of it with a bandsaw. And when using a bandsaw as a sawmill, it's really important to have a sawmill blade on it. I've only got a 3/4 horsepower motor on this saw, that's why I have to go slow. This chunk of log is about 4 centimeters or almost 2 inches away from the maximum depth of cut on my saw. See how that saw blade goes back and forth? That's because the weld on it isn't quite straight. And I wouldn't be trusting the trunnions alone to hold that heavy a chunk of wood on the edge of the table. But this dust guard here is actually also a post for that side of the table. I actually have to take that part off if I want to tilt the table. This fills up the sawdust drawer fast, so I have to make sure it doesn't pile up too much. Ah, shit. Pop the breaker. That motor says 9.8 amperes, but I popped the 15 amp breaker with it. Way overloaded. With abuse like that, I'm always a little bit worried about what if I damage the saw, and I keep having to remind myself there's nothing on the saw that I couldn't fix. So this is what came out of this piece of tree trunk, plus a smaller one here, and a huge amount of bark, and a whole bucket full of sawdust. That sheet metal cover used to be the door for a clothes dryer. That sawmill blade is so unwieldy, the best way to get it off is to take the table off and the upper blade guide. With a bandsaw made out of wood, I don't like leaving wet sawdust in it. And why didn't I just use my biggest 26-inch bandsaw to saw up that log? Well, the thing is, I have sawmill blades for this one. I haven't bought any for this. This one's got a slightly bigger motor, and the wheels are big enough for sawmill blades on this one. And the extra elbow room this way doesn't really add anything when milling up logs. And the wheels on the Wood-Mizer, I think, are actually a wee bit smaller than on my 20-inch bandsaw. And I've also used my 20-inch bandsaw with my bandsaw on a dolly sawmilling setup. That worked much better, but that setup only makes sense if I have a workshop that I can drive into with a tractor. And right now, I don't have a means of moving big logs, so there's no point in that setup anymore.